How's it going, everyone? Today we're going over the CPU that was underwater for 7 days. Also, we're going to be talking about Intel's degradation, their oxidation, their problems with their newer CPUs, CPUs that haven't even launched that might have issues. AMD's going strong right now. They had a small hiccup on launch date, but that's about it. So first things first, let's get right into her. The CPU that was underwater for 7 days. So here it is. This is the CPU that was underwater for 7 days. There's the same code. I didn't fully clean it yet. Not the thermal paste, at least. It's already been tested. I did make a video about it already. Works just fine. I'm going to be putting it through the ringer soon. So let's just do this. Get a nice close up. So you can see the top SMD. So I did clean the best I could on the bottom here. Then the top SMDs, you can see the solder slightly darker. It's not from light. The light's good. The solder on the top SMDs right here, they're darker. I've also noticed the gold plating. So this is against a newer one, basically new. The gold plating, if we can get on camera, is a little bit different. So here's the CPU that was underwater for 7 days, right here. And then this is the newer one. See how everything looks nice and clean. Solder is very shiny. And that's versus basically new. This is fairly old CPU. Was used, but it was used in a workstation that was fairly cooled in AC environment. I have a bunch of these CPUs that I'm going to be doing tests on, like how much voltage these LGA 1366 can handle, how low of a voltage we can go while keeping a decent core clock. This is a 4-core 8-thread at 2.93 gigahertz. So it's not a powerhouse, but I have overclocked these to well over 4 gigahertz on just water. On air, I can get 4 gigahertz no problem. But yeah, this is a new one. Looks good. So yeah, Intel's oxidation, that's the next step on this here. Their 12th, 13th, and 14th, more or less the 13th and 14th gen CPUs are what they're calling oxidizing, as in due to the either motherboard manufacturers, it could be the RAM with the motherboard manufacturers going in with their own kind of voltages for the vids, because they're just putting it way too high. Same thing with the LLC. They're putting it way too high for the voltages. Like some of the voltages I was seeing is like 1.5, 1.6. I do believe I have a test, and I do have a test. I just need to record it. So on the motherboard that I have here, it's a Z690 ORS Master, and if I put it back to a certain BIOS, way back before, people more or less were talking about problems and their CPUs were degrading or degrading at some point, as in they're doing the same voltages, same clock speed, same everything. Temperatures are well within reason of the same temperatures, and it's they're blue screening, they're BSODing. So that's issues there. We're gonna have to talk about that more later. There is a lot of topics about it right now, but a lot of them are kind of mixed match, and that's just no good for anybody. More or less, it's their micro code architecture. It's they're putting in too much voltages in spots where it doesn't need that much voltages. They're just putting the voltages up there for a reason. Some people are saying that with an increase of 0.30 millivolts, you can. No, sorry. Some people are saying with like a 0.3 millivolt drop or increase while doing a certain task, it can not even be a hard task. So you could be in a game and that's a hard task. Hard task for CPU is gaming, and then you can exit out of the game and you'll blue screen, and that is due to the fact of the voltages dropping and or lowering into a spot where the cores didn't like it. The cores just did not like that. I have not noticed any of these kinds of issues, even though I owned 12th gen, multiple different kinds of 12th gen, 12600, 12900 K, 12600K. I've owned the 13th gen, 13900K, KF. I have not noticed any of the degradation, as in I was losing the stability at certain core speed and voltages, and that's because as soon as I got out of the box, I would put my own voltages onto the cores and my own voltages on the P cores and the E cores. You can run each of the E cores separately on certain tasks. So if you download Benchmate, you got different kind of benchmarks that you can test your CPU on. And you can run just single core, single E core, single P core on that test, and then you can make it crash. You can like do like a semi crash where it will like do a hiccup, and everything will be just fine. So yeah. Uh, yeah, so I put all the voltages to where I like it. With apparently their new update on the BIOS, so it's gonna be like whatever BIOS you have, it's gonna have like a C or a B. It's gonna be like a beta test type for your motherboard, for your manufacturer, for your CPU. You're gonna throw in a new microcode that's gonna change the voltages, so you're not gonna have that sudden drop. Also in the BIOS, you can set, if you have overclocking motherboards, you can set like a calibration. You can set a calibration for everything, and yeah, if you set the calibration for like a load line calibration, so while you're in like a game in that, it'll keep you steady, or if you're just doing nothing, it'll keep you steady, and then you jump into a load, it's not gonna drop too much voltages on you, or millivolts. It's not voltages, it's just millivolts. Just a little bit of voltages can change uh, what's stable and what's not stable. So we'll get more into the Intel side of things soon. But in AMD's doing good. AMD apparently had a bit of a hiccup on launch date. Some people are saying that it's the etching that was on the actual CPU. Uh, the etching, yeah. So what the CPU was called. So they have the Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, Ryzen 9. One of their 9700 series, which is supposed to be a Ryzen 7. It was launched as a Ryzen 9 9700, which, I mean, in a way, I guess you could put it up to Ryzen 9, but I guess they don't want to. Or maybe there's something wrong with it and it didn't meet their expectations, because that's what I read on first. That's what they said first, is that the quality check wasn't good. Well, quality check can mean multiple things, and I guess, yeah, the issue with that is their etching. Their etchings said it was a Ryzen 9 when it was a Ryzen 7. So packaging was wrong. Is that gonna affect anything else? I don't know. I'm gonna be waiting for some people to do some tests, not just like Gamers Nexus and Linus and them, but like Frame Chasers. He'll do a bunch of tests on memory and that, see where you can get the memory to go to. I'm gonna see if any of them are gonna update any of the motherboards and do some motherboard testing on the older codes versus the newer codes for the BIOS. Um, yeah, we'll see about that. Anyways, again, thank you everyone for supporting this channel. You guys have been great. I'm glad you guys are liking the content. I'm gonna keep uploading more and more each time. I'm gonna try to keep out pumping good content. So actual good content. This isn't exactly the greatest content. Sorry about that, but it's a bit of a content. I'm gonna try to keep everything as kind of like drama free, but also in a way give you the inside of what the consumers have been dealing with and what actual reviewers are doing, and also what hardcore overclockers like me. And if you go check out actually hardcore overclocking over on YouTube, he's great. He'll show you a bunch of things that will blow your mind basically if you don't know anything about overclocking GPUs. Eventually, I will be getting into more of that kind of stuff, but again, just doing some of the smaller stuff. Take it step by step for everyone. Again, thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to get her done.